Jahan Marcu, and the title of my talk today is Myth and Mysteries of Cannabidiol. And first, as a disclaimer, I'd like to say that despite years of trying to cultivate lucrative conflicts of interest, none of them have panned out in any meaningful way. So, we're here today because of cannabidiol, at least at this panel. We're very interested in it. And I'd like to just start by saying there are two ways we can think about CBD. There's what we know through science and the recording of careful observation, and there's how we wish it could be. And I believe right now the future of this industry depends on many things, but also how well we understand cannabidiol and how well we apply that knowledge. And so today, this is the outline of my quick talk. We're going to talk about some assumptions we make. We all make. Some are specific, some are general about cannabidiol. The main thing I want you to take home probably is this idea of psychoactivity, what it is and what it means. It really just means brain activity. So when you say something is non-psychoactive, you have to qualify that by saying it's non-psychoactive. Maybe it's non-psychoactive like THC. It has a unique psychoactive profile. It doesn't cause intoxication. You know, watch your language is my point. I'm going to talk about CBD and Schedule 1 lists. There's lots of different types of schedule lists out there. I'm going to talk about what does CBD metabolize into. I just learned this a couple months ago, so I thought I'd share it with you. And I'm going to talk about CBD synergy, because I wish I could give the whole talk just about what the research is since the 1940s about combining THC and CBD, but I have 4 minutes. So, recent trends and assumptions. CBD is non-psychoactive versus psychoactive. It goes into the brain, it has an effect, it interacts with serotonin receptors, just to give you an example. So, be careful when you're thinking about this. So when someone says we need to pass a CBD-only law because it's non-psychoactive, you know, my question is I don't really know where to begin to correct that statement. Another thing that we often talk about is a strong, we assume that there's a strong clinical basis for predominantly CBD products, when there isn't that much information about them. The opposite is true. We have way more information about high amounts of THC combined with low amounts of CBD or equal mixtures. There's virtually no information in humans except for maybe like 20 people over the last 30 years or so being looked at with just CBD products. And also another thing we assume is that huge doses of rare cannabinoids are always safe. We don't have a lot of information about what the long-term effects of cannabidiol are. We have way more information about the long-term effects of THC, I think. So these are legitimate concerns that people have. And as well, another thing I just want to throw in there is that when you're deriving a new substance, creating a new botanically derived substance with solvents that haven't previously been used before, that requires some sort of, characterization. All right, so CBD according to the DEA. If you're going to write down one thing from this presentation, I'd write down CBD 7372. It's the DEA sort of schedule for it. That's probably the most important thing I have to talk about today. So you can see that there's actually 2 references for marijuana with an H, one kind of 6th or 7th from the top and one up from the bottom. So here's the Schedule 1 list. If you want to know where this comes from, it's the DEA drug diversion website. So when I was in academia, I worked with the 2 most heavily restricted things or regulated things, cannabinoids and radiation. So I know a lot about trying to get your cannabinoids shipped to you, and so you go to the website, you fill out this form, indicate what you want, and your DEA license, it's established. And so, I wish it wasn't this way. I wish CBD was very much open for research and a lot of people had access to it. And this is a cover of the monograph. And this isn't just a shameless plug. I actually want to say that the picture on the front page of the monograph, I think, sums up perfectly where we are today. It's a crop of marijuana, cannabis, sativa, surrounded by a 10-foot-high barbed wire fence and a guard tower. That's where we are right now today. Maybe the second version will have a nice picture with a lovely outdoor greenhouse or something, but this is where we are today. And so, and if you're in medical marijuana industry, which I assume most of you are, whether you're a patient, a regulator, a provider, or just an enthusiast, you've caught some of the buzz about CBD. You've probably received maybe a few emails, spammed, been contacted on social media groups, maybe even heard some interesting testimonials about products and buying them. I've encountered this too, and I've posted those pictures I showed you before. Well, this is a DEA scheduled list. I'm not sure, what you're saying about its legality is true or completely accurate in my situation. So I decided to share with you one of the arguments that I've seen most prevalent online. So I erased the name. So I'm going to read the first sentence, and this is when I posted the fact that the cannabidiol is a Schedule I drug. This is a response I got from a guy. I am positive a multi-million-dollar publicly traded company could not violate law in open air. The asterisk is to pause for laughter. Have you been around this country? And then it goes on to talk about CBD being a wonderful antioxidant. This is true. The government did patent it. This is true as well. And then it goes on to talk about some other things. But I guess and this is not where it stops. So I did more research. And even on Wikipedia, there is a change with reference to hemp meds and other companies. Instead of referencing the DEA website, references like a blog or something like that. Schedule I, basically I thought this was really cute. This is what CBD has to say about itself. Schedule I, cannabidiol does not find itself on the list, which is odd because depending on what list you cite, it could not be on there for various reasons. And also, please do not feed the trolls online. That's a very important lesson. All right, so now I'm going to just talk about what I think is a really cool stuff, and that is what's CBD doing, just a kind of a quick sail through some of the research. So something I think is really cool is CBD can inhibit the enzymes that synthesize and break down endocannabinoids, and that can allow THC to synergize with other endocannabinoids, so modulation, indirect interaction with the endocannabinoid system. Cannabidiol has its own unique anti-inflammatory processes. It doesn't necessarily act through CB1 or CB2 like THC does. It also can act as an allosteric modulator. It can prime a receptor for activation that is important for sort of the pain relief associated with when cannabis is consumed. And this is a quote from a paper by John McPartland. CBD is an antioxidant ROS scavenger. The U.S. Department of Health patented this discovery despite its classification of cannabis as a Schedule I substance having no currently accepted medical use. So the patent doesn't mean something is legal. I could patent double bacon cheeseburgers for treating, cardiovascular disease. It doesn't mean that those two things are actually kind of connected. So CBD also acts as a serotonin receptor. So CBD metabolism, I thought this was cool. Really the only thing to take home from this is CBD-7-oic acid is what the main metabolite that CBD turns into. There's like 33 other ones. This comes from GW Pharmaceuticals' product description about Sativex. It's a really kind of fun read through about all the research about THC and CBD. I think it's interesting. So I would encourage you to check it out. So, I'm just about through. Okay, so real quick, THC and CBD, we all know, might be familiar with some of these claims. Here are the studies. We see as so far back as 1974. We have more studies, and these are in human cells, human beings, or epidemiological studies. And these are all really saying that a certain ratio, right, either a 1-to-1 or low CBD, high THC works the best. And we see that in, like I said, human cancer cell lines, we see that in experiments on human tissue, and we see that in human beings being studied. And so basically, CBD is listed on Schedule I. I just want to be clear about that. There have been over 25 human and epidemiological studies on combining THC and CBD. These have always been on a low ratio of CBD to THC, like 1 part CBD, 4 parts THC, or a 1-to-1 ratio. And there's really no studies that showed a greater than 1-to-1 ratio. And that's just the 2.7 milligrams to 2.5 milligrams. That's the ratio of THC to CBD that's in the technical description of Sativex. And my other point is, again, watch your language when you're talking about these things, because terminology is really, really important. So thank you very much, and I'd be happy, like Steph said, to take any questions.